technology to the next level, which means, in brief, to their creative and artistic expectations. So that's about it.
Eric, for you as a camera operator, as the technical chair of the SOC, how does the ARRI Academy stand out in that way?
Well, I mean, they are the manufacturer, so they're the absolute expert on their system, which many of us all believe is the proper system to be shooting on. But I mean, there's things that I've ended up learning, like everything you shot on an ARRI Alexa from the beginning has had HDR metadata, and so you can go back and transfer HDR. And that's something that they teach in the ARRI Academy, and I think that's fantastic because now you can pull out your programs that you've done in the past and bring them up to a full HDR delivery now. So that's some of the things that they teach. Having the access to the gear, and their knowledge comes straight from the engineers who designed it and built it. So you're going to learn how to wring the most out of the camera in pretty much any situation, and then also how to follow it through with a post workflow to build your deliverables. So I think going straight to the source is the best way to do it.
Why is it so important for you guys? I mean, certainly your product's on the higher end of cinema cameras. Why the need for that? I mean, why not just put out a manual?
Well, actually, yeah, it's like I said just previously.
Nobody reads manuals.
More or less, but that's why I make them read the manual as well. But since it's an old system, it's not just an acquisition tool. It's important to know, as you just told before, that all what was previously shot on an ARRI camera with the technological advances and everything, the debayering, for example, we can redevelop RAW in a much higher level of quality. The whole system is evaluating, not just the acquisition tool. The whole chain, let's say, is improving all the time. So it's not just pieces. It's a whole system, and that's the nicest teaching about that. It gives us the possibility to bring them to the higher level and to improve their creative and artistic capabilities and bring them to the next level of confidence. So that's cool.
I mean, the reality is, in this industry, if you're not learning, you're being passed up by people who are learning. So getting that education from the people who know it and also who teach it every day in a manner that makes it where you and I can understand it easily is a huge thing.
So with that said, what are you excited for next?
Pardon me?
What are you excited for next?
Of course, the new products. What just came out, the Mini LF, the large format cameras, and the improvement of all levels of the workflow. That's very exciting, I think, and I'm always, as a trainer, very proud and confident about teaching those things because it's a system that works, that never leaves you along the path, and everybody is asking for it. So I mean,
if you had a choice of higher K or better color space, which would you take?
Well, I think definition is not the essential in my mind. It's spatio-temporal facts like contrasts and files manipulation and curves that make the whole thing, because our eyes do not have the ability to see so much definition, but we see contrast, we see colors, and that's the big thing about ARRI, is that they didn't put the whole thing on definition, but a lot on spatio-temporal facts, and that's very cool.
Yep.
I think like that myself.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the time. Don't go anywhere because we're going to bring in who is next? Alan.
Thank you so much.
Got the rotating ARRI booth here. Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are live on the SOC's YouTube page right now. So you are speaking to SOC members
I am an associate member.
Well, look at that. So, with that said, what are you excited about at NAB 2019?
Oh, that's a really good question. Obviously, the LF Mini is the star of the show, especially in my world of stabilization. We have a new tool that's at large format with signature primes that are really light and small packages that are cinematically above all the other tools that are out there.
And of course, we're talking about a lot about education. What are you looking forward to in that department?
Well, as you know, we run the academy at ARRI. We have the Motion Academy, and our CSS Motion class is forever changing and adapting to the requirements of the people that buy our products. I mean, camera stabilization is very new to us at ARRI. It's only been about 2 years, and I'm only 1 year in the company. But as a Steadicam operator, gimbal operator, Trinity operator, in terms of education, we're looking forward to bringing this motion and how to move a camera through space to anyone that attends the academy classes.
As a philosophy for the company, why is that so important? I mean, you're making a great camera. Why not let somebody else figure out how to move it?
I think because they want to sell more stuff, I think is what's No, I think...
Honest answer.
No, it's not about selling stuff. I mean, it's fine to drop a tool on somebody, but if you teach them how to use it, they're going to make better things. And the company's objective is to provide the tools to make excellent images. Providing the tools, education is a key component of that.
Have you seen that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's also, you have to remember, there's a bit of an integration thing going on where they can optimize their mounts for their cameras and their payloads and make it operate much better and much simpler than if you're piecing together a lot of parts. You know, I've actually taken one of Alan's classes. He's a fantastic teacher, and you know, he gets a very complex concept across that requires some stepping outside the box to understand why certain things are done, and he expresses it very, very easily. And that makes it, for any student that takes a class, accessible. And they come out of that class with the knowledge and information they need in order to succeed in their job.
As an educator and an SOC member, what's the first principle that you would give out to a student of motion?
Well, I don't know if there's any first principle because the tools are so varied, but I think further I think to what Eric was saying, we're in a position now where the tools are being democratized. They're lower priced, they're owner-operator, and as operators, we need to have the specialty, have the capabilities to separate ourselves and make ourselves instrumental and necessary on set. And it's only by doing this specialty equipment. So I think that's the key, is that there's the first fundamental, I guess, is that learn to do something that other people can't, so that we maintain the operator position, so that we build our skills and it's recognized as a skill separate from the director of photography. And you know, the nuts and bolts are a part of it, absolutely, but then there's the motion part of it and blocking, and that's something that you can't cover in 2 days, and where the SOC, I think, is trying to support in other areas. So I guess the first, to answer your question, the fundamental thing is learn all the time.
That's very good advice.
You know, 5 years ago, with the stabilization capability that's on the Trinity, a head tech would come out with that piece of gear. Now, as a Trinity owner-operator, you're not just that operator, but you're also that head tech. So you have to have that knowledge, and that's what ARRI Academy and their stabilization classes is giving you. It's giving you that knowledge to understand why the head does what it does, how to tune the head to get what you need done out of it. So again, it's just, you know, like I said earlier, it's they're setting you up for success with the knowledge that you need.
I think what you mentioned earlier is important. Is the business in a good place? You know, as somebody who's now with ARRI, an SOC member, a Steadicam operator, is the way that things are sort of working in motion pictures and television, is it in a good place right now?
Well, no, that's why I got out of the business and started working with ARRI. I encourage everyone to get a job with a manufacturer. It's really the best thing to do. No, it's a massive growth right now. I mean, with all the streaming services, every city I visit, and I travel extensively, is very, very busy. There's so much work to do. So we have a need for more shows. We have a need for more camera motion. The cost of the equipment's coming down. So now these tools are on the truck. So I think that's the key, is that with this growing market for content, growing market for equipment, we can now have these tools on the truck. We can bring the tool we need to the shot rather than compromising our shots for the tools that we have. And that, I think, is the key difference.
These tools aren't relegated to the multi-million-dollar productions anymore. This is something that a local video producer can purchase, learn, go to school on, keep working his skills on, and then have that and be able to offer and that as an option on his $50,000 or $100,000 local television spot, which 10 years ago, there was no way anybody had this unless they were spending hundreds of thousands on a local spot or millions. You know, to have a stabilized remote head and to do tracking shots on an automobile to the level that they are now, you know, you never saw those in local spots because they could not afford a tracking car.
I think the other component to that is the safety factor as well. You know, I mean, we can, with a remote camera, we can throw a camera down on the curb and we don't care if an actor's driving. You know, it's fine because we're safely removed. You know, shots where the camera's dropping or moving at a high speed, we don't have to be moving or dropping at a high speed. So there's that whole issue as well. And even if it's one shot a day, where you'd have to normally, as Eric's saying, call someone in, pay for that big rental, you can just pull it off the truck, put it on whatever device, and let's go.
Amazing. Alan, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And now we're going to trade you out for somebody with a great name. Interview number 3 of the rotating door. Jason, welcome. You have my favorite name of all the people we interviewed. Well, that works. So let's jump right in, start with education. What are you excited about in 2019?
Well, I'm really excited. We're starting a brand new class here at Area. It's called Block Light Shoot, targeted towards beginning emerging filmmakers. So it's not just for cinematographers, though. It's for directors and everyone trying to learn how to be a visual storyteller. We're going to work with actors. We're going to block a scene. We're going to talk about lighting, composition. So it's really open to more than just cinematographers and people interested. I think directors will get a lot out of it. I think producers as well, too.
I think it's so interesting that you talk about that because the ARRI product is not meant for the first-time camera buyer who's just getting into it yet. On the education side...
But honestly, the ARRI product is so well engineered that it can be used by the first-timer because literally it can be that simple.
Exactly. And that's the immersive process that we do with the class. I'm not a believer in lecture series. I'm a believer to get in there and do it. So the people in the class will be working firsthand with the technology, but also learning about camera composition, lighting design. So what I like to say is you're going to get dirty. So we're going to put on some gloves, and we're going to get to work. But what's also really exciting is we're going to shoot a scene, block it, light it, shoot it, go into our theater. We have a brand new 64-seat theater. Look at our dailies. We're going to make lots of mistakes, but that's okay. We're going to go back and reshoot it again and again till we get it right. So,
how would a class like that help somebody like Eric, who's an experienced camera operator? He's been around forever. Would that class make sense for somebody like him as well?
I think so too, in the sense that if you're interested in also directing and being also other elements than just cinematography, because we will look at it from that point of view. We won't be dealing though with performance, but looking as a storyteller as a whole. What is the objective of the scene, how we want to get there, and so forth. So it's very exciting.
What do you think about sort of that convergence of entry-level training with a high-level cinematography company?
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is we're all telling a story. And honestly, in everything we shoot, there's four basic rules that if we apply these 4 rules to everything we shoot and frame, we're going to do a much better job. If we understand where we're coming from in the story or in the emotion, in the tempo, where we're going to in the story, the emotion, tempo, how does the shot serve its purpose in this? So I see a lot of people make the mistake of they want to shoot a really cool shot, but it has no place in the edit. And so now they've just spent all this time on that, and they're never going to do it. And then the 4th rule is how can I make it better? But a class like this is going to teach them more about that third rule of how does this shot serve to tell the story. And so it's going to keep people from going down a wrong path and wasting time of something they're never going to use and getting frustrated, and get back to the basics of how do we tell the story.
Speaking of the basics, talking about the tools,
Sure.
what are you excited about at NAB that you guys have done in the last year?
Oh, well, I'm so excited for our new camera because I feel we've added a new tool in the toolbox for a cinematographer, new way to tell a story using this large format. So I'm super excited. I think James Laxton, if you go online, look at our website, I think he did a fabulous masterclass explaining what he's getting out of large format. So I hope everyone can check that out because I think it's a great new tool for their toolbox. So.
And what's next?
Oh, good question. So we'll have something next year. Haven't been told a lot of details, but it's very exciting. But we will have something in Super 35, but that's all I know so far.
I think the big takeaway here is ARRI is not just interested in selling you the gear to make the show. They're here to help you gain the knowledge to do it.
Couldn't say better yourself, huh?
Yep, absolutely. So I look forward to everyone signing up. I'm excited to join the class.
Eric, are you going to go?
Of course.
Nice.
All right. We can't get a better endorsement than that. Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
And we thank ARRI for having us in their booth. We'll continue coverage with the SOC throughout the week.
Yep.
Stay tuned on YouTube, and we'll be back with more. It's NAB 2019, courtesy of LiveView as we roam the floor here in Central Hall.
With the SOC.
We'll be back.